Okay, this is the video. Today is March 14th, 2023, and this is the video of the inspection on the property in Conroe. Let's do it.
All right, so this is the zip level measurement. So the zip level is an altimeter, and so what I do is I do a reference point here at the front door. I zero it out. I move it all over the house. It measures up or down in tenths of an inch. And so what I'd be looking for is any place where there's a sharp rise or a sharp drop within of half an inch or more within about 10 feet. And all these are really very consistent. The difference in the high spot and the low spot for the entire foundation, let's see, the high spot is 2/10. The low spot is -4/10, so 6/10, a little over half an inch in the whole foundation. So that's good.
Okay, that's good.
That's
Performing.
good. Yeah.
Performing.
Yeah. Related to the foundation is the grading and the drainage. So on the grading and drainage, so there's no gutters on the sides or back of the house. There are gutters over the patio and there's gutters over the front door entryway, but no gutters anywhere else. So there's soil erosion where the downward sloping parts of the roof are. So on the right side of the house, you got a nice big slope, but there's still some soil erosion on that. So gutters would be a good idea so that soil doesn't erode away. And then on the left side of the house, it's pretty flat. There's even a low spot. It's kind of over here on the left side, kind of by the pantry on the exterior. And it looks like there's maybe some some standing water probably when it rains.
Okay. So the fix would that be gutters?
Gutters would fix that. You might
French drains.
You might have to do a French drain on the left side if that area does hold water.
Okay.
But once the gutters are on, you won't have all that water cascading off of the house and landing in one spot. So the gutters by itself may fix it.
Okay, great. Good to know.
You got a little bit of damage on the bottom of the gutters. You got splash stones missing at the bottom of some of the gutter downspouts. And the drain extensions in the front, the one to the left side of the garage, it's clogged up, and the one that comes off the left side of the patio that goes out into the front yard is damaged. There's some cracks in the top of it.
Okay, good to know.
On the roof, so the roof has a few issues. A lot of it's just maintenance. So there's exposed nail heads in a number of places. So wherever you have exposed nail heads, those nail heads are going to rust. That's going to cause the nail to eventually rust, and when nails rust, they expand and contract and they back out of the holes. And so wherever you have a nail head exposed, it could eventually lead to the nail backing out, having a hole in the roof.
Right.
So right here on the ridge vent, you have one. You have them. I'm going to just kind of right here. You have them. You're going to have them at a number of the plumbing vents.
Okay.
So there's a number of these areas that have exposed nail heads. So I'm not going to go through every single one, but there's enough up there that it's like somebody should go up there with a caulking gun or with a roofing cement and cover all those nail heads.
And how about the aggregate on the shingles themselves?
It's pretty loose. You've lost a lot. In places there's sort of typical wear, and then there's other places where I call it excessive. So in the back left part, this is where I would call it excessive. And to me, it looks like a tree actually was rubbing on the roof, but there are actually no trees anywhere near that.
And maybe there was a tree at one point.
Maybe there was.
I don't know.
But this is quite a bit of granular loss here. And what that does is thin out the shingles, makes them more susceptible to wear from water and sunlight. And so, I mean, if it's possible to do, I'm going to recommend a roofing contractor because of the nail heads. Number one, there's three shingles that are actually damaged. So this is a really small one right in the front. And then this is over on the right kind of center at the top where the shingle, and it's just folded over. And then there's another one at the back left corner.
I think this is the original roof on the house.
Where it's folded over. When was the house built?
Oh, I would have to take off this video, and I don't want us to. I think it was.
That's fine. Let me just take a quick look.
Okay, I think it was 06. I think something like that. Maybe, I don't know, I'm just guessing.
2006 is correct.
2006,
So I would
okay.
say
I
that's
remember
about
kind of
right.
looking, but I just
I
didn't
would
have
say
it.
I was going to guess 15 to 20 years old, so that's about right.
Right. So,
That's about right for the granular law.
so would you say that it's approaching the age where we need to start budgeting for a roof repair or actually replacement?
I would say do some roof repair. So you want the shingles to be repaired. You want the nail heads to be covered. The plumbing vents all need paint. The furnace vent and the water heater vent need paint. And then there's a place where they had a satellite dish attached to the roof, and it's been repaired. And there's 2 other places where the shingles have been repaired, but there's just roofing cement on that place where that satellite dish is. And so I think that should just be evaluated. That might be something. There might be a few areas where you could do spot repairs, and then other areas where you're probably okay for a while. On the exterior, I did find a few cracks in the brick, but nothing serious. I would say just like you said.
Like on the right side? I know there was one.
There's one on the right side over by the AC. There's a couple on the left side, like right here behind the stove. There's a crack that starts at the top. It goes down to about 2 feet from the bottom, and then about 4 inches over, a new crack starts and goes all the way to the bottom.
Okay.
So that's a pretty long crack. There's a couple of cracks under some of these windows over here. But like I said, there's nothing where the brick has shifted. It's all just a straight crack through the brick and mortar. Repair that.
Caulk it.
Caulking or concrete. If you do concrete and it moves, it's going to crumble. But if you do caulking, it's going to be flexible and it'll move with the brick. But you want to just keep water out of it.
Right.
The windows.
I kind of thought that might be happening because I kind of felt that there wasn't, like, it's a very long run, and I think I only saw one expansion joint.
Yeah.
So maybe they should have put 2 of them in there, and that might have prevented the cracking.
Yeah, it might have, yeah.
I mean, that's what my thought was when I was looking at the property with the buyer, and I told him I thought that they should have put another expansion joint in. But anyways, let's keep going.
So let's see. Windows look good on the exterior. I did see a couple places above windows and doors where you got a little bit of rust on the lintel. That just needs to be sanded and painted. None of it's bad. It just to point out there's some rust spots on it, and to point out that it is a lintel. It does require some maintenance.
Okay, good.
Indoors, the walls indoors and outdoors, touch-up painted is needed in quite a few places, and caulking on the exterior. So where you have the brick ledges in the front of the house, it looks like they put a piece of wood on there at kind of an angle because probably the brick ledges didn't have any slope.
Right.
And so they put this wood on there, and the wood paint is failing, and the caulking is failing, and then the paint is failing.
You want to show me where it is?
Yeah, I can show it to you.
Yeah.
It's all along the front, but I can show you right here. So like this. So the caulking is split all along here, and the paint is failing. You can see that, and then all of these were the top of the brick ledges everywhere here and on the right side of the front of the house.
Okay.
And on the back they have windowsills, but they don't have any. They have on a slope, but they didn't have to add that wood piece.
Right.
Doors. Let's see. Missing weather stripping at the front door and the back door, or the weather stripping's damaged. The garage door should have an automatic closer, and it doesn't have an automatic closer. So when you're warming up your car, you don't get fumes coming into the house.
Right.
Door stops are missing in a few locations around the house. Gaskets missing at the bottom of the shower door, so you could have water splashing up and out of that.
Okay.
Ceilings and floors. So I found on the floors. I found some chipped tile in the kitchen, some stained carpeting in the master bedroom.
Right.
Ceilings. I found a previous repair. I can't remember where I found it. Let me look on here. Ceilings. Oh, it's in this hallway right here. Turn on the light. So right here, it's a previous repair.
Any guess what it might have been from the AC?
It might be the AC pan, because going up, when you go up into the attic space, you can basically walk all the length of the house.
Right.
Well, except for the master bedroom.
Right.
So this very well could be the pan.
Okay.
Let's see. The fireplace, it functioned, it burned. There's no anti-closing device on the damper. So there should be like a metal clamp on there just for safety, so that if the gas were to leak out of it, it would go up the chimney instead of spreading out.
So this is that was the fireplace.
Yeah, this is the damper,
right,
and the flue. And countertop is damaged in a few places.
Yeah, I saw that.
Got some cracks in the driveway. The fence has damaged boards in a number of places. I pointed that out just for the fact, number one, there's places where the bottom of it's rotted. There's places where pets could easily get out, or other animals could easily get in.
Right.
And if you have a small pet, that can be kind of dangerous.
Right. So the fence definitely needs to be fixed.
Yeah, and the gate lock, you have to lift the gate to make it latch.
So it's not balanced.
Yeah, so
it's
kind of sagging.
Right. Probably needs to be replaced.
That or just to moving the lock up might work. Electrical, so the panel looked good. I didn't find any issues in the panel. On the branch circuits throughout the house, which are the plugs and switches and things like that. So all the outlets in the kitchen, first of all, where you're supposed to have GFCI are wet areas like bathrooms, kitchen, exterior, garage. And you have all those, but they just didn't think of a couple. So like this one right here is within 6 feet of the sink. And this one,
so these should have been on GFCI.
And this one over
as
here,
well.
yeah, is within 6 feet of the sink.
Yeah,
Those two, in my opinion, should also be
so
GFCI.
this outlet and this electrical receptacle, not on GFCI outlets, should be GFCI'd and included, or at least get their own GFCI protection.
Exactly. The dryer outlet, it wouldn't have set off my voltage tester. The breaker is on, but for some reason.
Okay, so the outlet for the dryer is not functioning.
Yeah, the big
So it's not
220.
functioning.
This one right here.
They're not functioning.
Correct.
So we can't plug in our Tesla.
And then the gas is not capped. It should be capped because if you turn that gas, you got gas coming out in the
It's
house.
shooting out. Yeah, we don't want that. But yeah, definitely we need to talk about this one. You think it's probably just needs, maybe it's the actual piece that needs to be replaced, or there's no way of telling it?
I don't know. Yeah. I
Don't know. Okay. Maybe they never hooked it up. No, I'm just kidding.
There was the front porch light missing the globe. A couple lights in the house that didn't work. The dining room, the light over the breakfast area. The front porch, the light over the master bathtub didn't work. The doorbell didn't work.
Okay.
All right, so that's it for electrical. So on HVAC, so the heater worked just like it was supposed to.
Oh, one thing about electrical was the grounding rod in there, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Grounding rod, grounding wire connected, good secure connection.
Okay, good deal.
Heater worked fine. AC worked fine. Both came to the desired temperature.
Well, okay, so let me just ask you, because I know it's a little bit of a cooler day, which always makes the AC work a little bit easier. What was your temperature differential?
The temperature differential. So what I did when I got here, they had the heat set on 69.
Okay.
Which basically means nothing was going.
Right,
It wasn't hot. It wasn't cold enough for the heat to come on, and there was no AC. So what I did was I turned the heat up to 77 degrees. I heated the house up to 75 degrees, and I took my temperatures at the registers. I had over 100 degrees, which is what I'm looking for, 100 to 139 degrees. They were all low 100s to 120s.
Okay.
And then I switched it over to AC. So my AC temperature differential was, at the return I had 67 degrees, and at the supplies I had 47 to 50 degrees. So it was 17 to 20 degrees was my temperature differential, which
Okay.
it should be
It's
within
17.
15 to 20. It was 17. to
So that's
20.
pretty good.
So it's it was
yeah.
within the acceptable range. Now, there were a few registers that I see, like something black growing on. Like there's something.
Oh, growth.
something
That's
black
going to be on
these.
every. Would you say that's on almost every house?
I wouldn't say every house, but there are some locations of houses where condensation forms on those. So both of these in the living room and the 2 bedrooms over here are the places where the black stuff was kind of growing on.
I know I spoke to an AC guy who seemed very, very knowledgeable, and I've actually spoken to quite a few of them. They said that, usually you'll see at some of the registers, you'll see some little black growth. He said it's just, we're so hot here in Texas and the air coming out is cold. It creates, it creates dampness, and you just can't get away where you could clean it 100 times and it'll still come back at some point. Is what he said. That's just from some AC contractors I've spoken to over the years.
That could be true. I don't see it everywhere, but regardless of that, whenever we see it, we just say have an HVAC guy take a look at it to make sure that it's not something that's extensive. See if there's any hazard to health. You want to do some kind of a test.
Absolutely, I agree.
So let's clicked inadvertently. So there's a condensate line in the attic that's not insulated, so that needs to be insulated because water running through that's going to be cold. And so it can form condensate and drip into the ceiling.
Right, and we don't want that.
Yeah, you don't want that. Let's see. On the heater, what do I have as a deficiency here? Oh, at the heater, so that's one of the places on the roof where this is from inside the attic. There's actually light coming in from under the flashing because the flashing is raised. So that flashing needs to be made flush because what could happen if it's raining and the wind is blowing, wind-driven rain could come into that opening and drip down into your ceiling.
Okay, that's good to know.
And you have the same thing on your water heater with an opening there.
It's so funny. Roofers defer on that so much. I mean, I've spoken to so many roofers. Some say, "Oh, yeah, you're supposed to always see lights there." I don't know why they, bring that up every time. I mean, I'm just saying what I've heard.
Yeah.
So. Everybody has a different opinion.
Whenever we write it up for new construction, they fix it.
Right.
So let's
They
see.
just caulk it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, that's what you're supposed to do. Just caulk it on the exterior. So because you have a diverter ring on top of it, and the water rolls off of that, and the opening you usually see is below the diverter ring.
Right.
But you could get wind-driven rain if the wind is blowing just right. It could go in there. So,
Right. So definitely want it sealed. Got it.
So on the plumbing, I didn't find any leaks in any of the water supply lines or any of the drains.
I think it had PEX plumbing, right?
It has PEX plumbing, except there's one place in the bathroom where it has copper piping and it's hooked up to PEX because that copper piping just kind of flops around. So it's connected to PEX behind the wall. Why
Do
they did that?
do you think this home was maybe replumbed at some point?
2006, probably.
So probably the original plumbing was probably copper.
Probably, yeah.
And they just didn't go all the way through. They wanted to not replace the valve probably. And they just kind of cut it, attached it, and let it keep rolling.
Probably what they did.
Sounds like what they did.
The shower, there's no water pressure issues anyway. I put low water pressure, low water flow at the master shower head. The shower head is leaking, so the spray coming out is not very strong.
Got it.
That was the only plumbing issue in the whole.
Okay. The pressure on the plumbing is what, about 60?
70. I don't remember. Let me go back and look. 70 psi.
70. Okay. That's within normal
Pretty
tolerance.
good pressure. Yeah.
Okay.
I look for between 40 and 80, so that's actually on the high end. So it's good.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of the homes we do, they end up being like 60, 66.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 70 is a little bit higher, but I think it's within tolerance.
So slow drainage in the master bathtub and in the left master sink. I didn't have to plug those up at all. When I turned on the water, they just filled up. And when you turn the water off, they eventually go down. They just need to be snaked. It's probably hair.
Hair, debris over years. Got it.
Nothing else with the drains. The water heater was working like it was supposed to. Weird thing about the water heater, so it's a Bradford white water heater, but there's no manufacturer's label on it. I took a picture of every single sticker that I could find on it, and I'm going to read through it because there's a lot of detail on some of these stickers. So like here's all the different stickers that I found on it, and I'm going to read through those and see if the manufacturer's information, but like I don't know the capacity, and I don't know the manufacturer date without the manufacturer's label. There is some damage to the tank. It's minor, but so here at the bottom of the tank, there's kind of it's crushed just a little bit.
Maybe they dropped it.
And then over here on the side of the tank, there's another dent that kind of runs down like this.
Probably dropped it.
They may have dropped it. It may be a scratch and dent model that they took the manufacturer's label off because they didn't want anybody to know how old it was or something. I don't know. Normally you don't see those removed.
Yeah, that does sound a little...
So with that, I'm going to have to just recommend a plumber evaluate it because you don't know how old it is.
Right. Another quick question for you. Kind of backtracking back to the AC.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the system was 410A, right?
It's 410A, manufactured in 2018.
Okay, so it's not the original system?
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
2018.
Yeah.
So that's good to know.
Yeah.
And were both units replaced, the condenser and the evaporator?
Yes, they're both 2018.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah.
Good deal. Good to know.
Also, something I forgot to mention. So on the roof, I had already done the exterior, and there's an air conditioning, which means there's a furnace. But on the roof, there are 2 furnace vents. So one of those furnace vents actually goes to the furnace. That's the one with the light coming through. The other furnace vent is just sitting there. The pipe is stuck through the attic, and it's acting as more of a passive vent where airflow could go back and forth. I have no idea. It doesn't look like.
Do you think maybe somebody might have replaced it with a new one at some point?
They look like they're the same exact age. I honestly don't know.
Maybe it was a builder.
And maybe it was the original.
Do you think
when they put in the new unit, they put in a new, but the vents on the exterior look exactly the same.
Do you think it might have been a builder mistake, and the builder might have just put in 2 by accident? Builders do some of the craziest things.
I don't really.
I mean, I'm just saying, if you're saying it's about the same age, but that does sound a little kind of, and do you think that maybe like one of them is in a position where it can't reach?
Possibly. It's pretty far.
It's pretty far.
Yeah.
So that might, you know what? They might have built the home and they put the one that's further out in that spot, but when they realize like, oh boy, our AC goes here, not over there, so we're just going to drop another one and...
Possible.
That's my thought. I'm just trying to be like practical and logical thinking about it. Why would there be 2 HVAC ducts, is what they're called, or HVAC?
Heater vent.
Heater vents.
Yeah.
Probably. And one you said is kind of far away, so in my mind, maybe that's one of those things because, a lot of times one of the last things to go in a home is the AC and heating when the builder is done with it. Yeah. And it might have just been the thing when they built the home, they just put it over there and they're like, oh, shucks, it goes over here. So instead of like trying to take that down and re-shingle it, they were like, just throw another one in there.
Yeah. You might be right. So in the kitchen, I ran the dishwasher, the food waste disposer, the range hood exhaust, the oven and the cooktop. And all of those things work. The dishwasher is missing on the drain, is missing what's called the anti-siphon loop.
Okay.
And that's just a real simple thing. So on the drain, where the drain hooks to the food disposer, you just want to take that drain and pull it up so it's about 2 inches above and hang it on a nail or a hook.
Right.
So that the food disposer can't backflow dirty water into the dishwasher.
Right.
On the bathroom exhaust vents, all the bathroom exhaust vents worked, but there was one place where the bathroom exhaust vent is actually broken. So there's a place where there's another pipe laying on the floor, and this pipe is here, and they just came apart. Those just need to be reconnected, and then they need to be sealed at the roof covering. This is the other piece of it. And when I'm doing the video, I kind of show everything. Okay. And so that'll explain that. So it's really just a repair. On the garage door opener worked fine. It makes a lot of noise when you open it. There's some minor damage at the bottom of the door on the exterior. And it looks like it's a little bit misaligned. So when it's closed, you can see a lot of light through the top. I think that
probably
could
needs
be
some
aligned.
adjustments.
Yeah, probably some adjustment. And then the torsion spring. So if you look at the torsion spring here, so you can see where this pipe is, there used to be a torsion spring here. And so I don't know if the torsion spring broke and they took it off and didn't replace it, or if they took both of them off and replaced the two torsion springs with a stronger single torsion spring. The door feels pretty light. Like I pulled the release, I lowered it and I raised it, and it's pretty light. But because there's a place for two torsion springs, I think it should be evaluated, because if you're putting too much work into that motor, it'll burn up that opener.
Got it.
And lastly, with the dryer exhaust is dirty. It needs to be cleaned.
Yeah, that's
a
regular thing.
Wood destroying insect report is a pretty clean report. High soil at the front of the house. Just need to take the soil level down because it's too close to the weep holes.
No active termites.
No active termites. In the back of the house, at the patio, the form boards are still between the patio slab and the foundation, and that's just a snack for it's a snack for termites. They just pull those out. Other than that, you can see the foundation everywhere. There's no wood rot anywhere, so everything looks pretty good.
Okay, well,
that's it.
That's it. Well, this concludes the video for the property in Conroe, and seems like it was a pretty good report. So overall, pretty regular items found on a 2006 property. Nothing in my mind was pretty much out of the ordinary, but you would probably say the roof is probably the most heaviest weight out of everything you found.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. So the roof is definitely has some concerns and some, probably some opportunities there to have more discussions about the roof. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and discontinue this video. Thank you for joining us. Over and out.